Hi, I'm Keegan, and this is A Bunch of Gamers. This is our 137th episode of Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Anniversary Edition. Rage Across the Heavens, the Tightening Net. I'm going to go around and have my players introduce themselves.
I'm Tyler, and I play Kyle, also known as Guards the Low. He's a Philodox of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sam. I play Cora. She's an Aruna in the Geta Fenris.
Hi, I'm Adam. I play Mark Guides the Fallen, and he's a Thurge of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play Zeb Speaks-in-Sweet-Whispers. He is a Theurge of the Silent Striders.
Hello, my name's Thomas. I play Dimitri Howls-In-Memory, Lupus Galliard of the Bone Gnawers.
Hi, my name is George. I am playing William Grows-Matrices. He is a Fostern Arun of the Glasswalkers.
Last time, the packs were driving towards the Sept of the Unified Heart when a roadside bomb shredded the unyielding road. Fighting a desperate battle, the packs were saved by a group of Black Spiral dancers. It seems that the Black Spiral dancers cannot come to consensus on whether the child will save or destroy Gaia. Politely rejecting the Spiral's aid, the packs then stole a truck and have now begun their journey up towards Seattle. 2 days have passed as the packs have been slowly making progress, driving this way and that way, trying to avoid notice and trying to make sure that the child is well cared for. Moving along, you are about 20 minutes out of Seattle, and that means maybe another hour out from the general location of the Sept of the Unified Heart. You now have a bit of a quiet time as the child has fallen asleep after a slight tantrum, and a doctor recommended Dazzle to make sure that they don't ruin the truck. And so you have some time to consider your options and how you want to try and approach the Sept.
Well, so we are under the impression that Final Days is there. Do we ask for him specifically when we get to the Sept and talk to him privately first and tell him about what's going on? Or, has he broken significant amounts of trust to the point where we won't trust him with this? I think is a big question. Because we don't really know what his opinion on the perfect child is.
I know we don't know his opinion on it, but the impression that I was under was that he was kind of one of the only people we could go to that we could possibly trust.
He is one, and that's the thing, we could possibly trust him. I just, with the way that things went down in Sacred Stone, how much do we want to trust him with it? Does he still have our full confidence?
I guess we could, or some of us could go in and ask him about how he feels about the prophecy.
Well, we kind of know, right? Because he knows that he's going to die.
Oh, yeah.
And right, notwithstanding that he was racist and shitty, which is why he's not in charge of it anymore, because, again, the truth spirit that we summoned brought it out in the open, otherwise nobody would have ever known. He took a lot of shit, too, because it was observed that Sacred Stone was playing it a little bit fast and loose with the litany, right?
Mm.
I'm inclined to believe that, again, racist and shitty notwithstanding, he kind of knows what his fate's sealed to be, and at least it's someone that we know.
Sure.
Nothing that he's ever again, specifically when he talked about his end, there was nothing that made it sound like he was going to try to fight it. But
True.
that's just Sean listening to the dialogue of an NPC that you guys have a lot more interaction with.
That's true, and I don't, out of character from my memory, I don't remember him doing anything that would directly derail our goals and our mission, because from his point of view, everything he did was for the best. He thought it was the right thing to do. Again, racist and shitty notwithstanding. Because, it wasn't for the best, but is what I'm saying making sense?
Yeah, I think so. It's worth noting that he could easily be like, well, it's for the best if the child dies. But I do think that our best bet is to not, bring the child into the Sept,
Sure.
Just on the off chance that there's one or two people who are part of that. It's not, I can't call it a cult, I guess. The Protectors of Gaia.
It's an adversary.
Yeah, adversary.
I also do think that based on a lot of his actions and decisions, puts a target on his back, and bringing the child to them would also put us in unfavorable light. And it would also cause some suspicions as to why we are talking with them again after everything. Because wasn't it us that, like Zeb was saying, summoned the Incarna of Truth to cause this?
We also fought with him on it was only a very long day, but we also fought with him the entire time we cleared that hive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he showed up. He's banned from ever going back to Sacred Stone on Threat of Death. But
not from interacting with the people from.
And I would say, thematically, to make sure we as players are on the same page, is there anyone here who desires to just surrender the cub to this Sept and go along their merry way of meta plot?
No.
Not really. Anyone else?
I'm torn on that, be honest. I could go either way on it. I don't particularly want to give up the child, but at the same time, I don't know how well we, as essentially roaming Garu, will be able to protect this child for the next 2 years. I don't know how capable we are without the resources of a Sept backing us.
Mm-hmm.
But that is my only real concern with it, is the logistics of doing so, because we already almost all died, and we don't have the ability to protect ourselves from tracking, which obviously the spirals offered us, but we wisely turned down.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, we don't have the resources to protect this child on our own, but we're not exactly in a situation where we can just drop them off at a Sept and then just
Deuces.
So yeah, like if we're talking meta, I don't think I would actually enjoy babysitting a guru for 2 years. Where like we could maybe drop them off and go about on our merry way and have fun doing other things. But at the same time, in character, it's just like I don't think it's feasible to do that. Much along the lines of what everyone else is saying. It's like we don't necessarily trust anyone enough, or anything along those lines. Yes.
Since we can't seem to trust any Garu, what about that coalition of Farah that we helped out and has a lighter look on the Garu because of us? With the, Pillars of Earth. Or did he die?
Earth Pillar did not die.
Okay.
Are you talking about when we went to, I think, was it Nevada?
Right, but they also used
New Mexico.
Anywhere we put it puts that Sept at risk of other Septs attacking it because they know it's there. And that was the whole reason why even leaving it at Sacred Stone put them at risk of other Septs cutting them off if they didn't follow the litany, right? And everyone perverts the litany for their own political gain. I think that Final Days is worthwhile as a contact, and I think Adam is onto something that we could speak to the Farah, but I mean, really, it's the harbinger of the apocalypse, right? Like, this is how this road goes, George.
So, great ideas, but I'm really gonna stick with my Farah idea for reasons.
That's probably the best one.
Because everybody has our names. Everybody that we've interacted with of the Garo Nation that we know, they have their names. They will just track them. They don't have the Farah's names. They don't know that we've been interacting and creating a confederacy with the Farah. Dropping off the child with them, not only I think is a good idea, but it's also like an extension of trust. We're in a really tight bind. We have literally no one else we can trust, and they're our own kind. We need to go to you. The Garu need your help.
I do like that idea the most out of everything.
Yeah, me too. I think it's definitely probably the best option, and possibly also helps with kind of not rebuilding the bridges, but showing that we trust these Farah with helping us out from stopping a child from getting killed.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. We were just met by a group of black spirals, looking to help us. That sounds pretty strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I think it's probably our best bet. We would have to be careful about it, because there is the chance that they'd be like, no, we'll kill it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would imagine that they don't have their finger on the pulse of all of our prophecies in this way. We could tell them these prophecies, be just forthwith with them, tell them everything, and just be like, are you willing to take on this child?
This responsibility.
Because the more of our allies and the more of our people that we interact with know about this child, the more they're in danger. The more that they'll be visited off frame.
No, I think so. I think that could really work.
And Thomas, you agreed with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Alright, so it looks like we're stopping in Seattle and heading back south.
Well, I would like to look into the...
and we have to go to
Shadow
Vancouver.
Lord
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to look into the Vancouver situation, but...
Okay.
So, we can still get something out of our trip to Seattle. We can still choose to trust Final Days with information and ask him, hey, are there any members of this Sept who can help us defeat the tracking? Block the ability to trace us.
Like, pretty much throw their trail off.
Right. Especially because I would not want to lead a whole shitload of Garu to the Farah to begin with, when we do figure out wherever they are.
That's smart. Nice.
That'd be big.
And maybe the answer is no. Maybe there won't be anyone who can help us at...
But, that information is still helpful.
Yeah.
And at that point, maybe a pact with a spirit, some sort of bloodhound spirit that can, like, get rid of scent, or wind spirit that can get away the track.
But, okay, cool.
All
So we
right.
kind of have a plan?
Kind of's better than none.
Awesome. So I'll stay in the truck with the pup, probably outside of Seattle. If someone else wants to stay with me, while a couple of us go to the Sept and get Final Days and bring him back here.
I'll stay back then, just for like guard duty, because to Arun can probably protect the pup better than a few other people.
Whoever is going to go, I think they should use only their actual name and not their pack name, because there's a good chance that pack names have gotten out. In particular, like, these packs are who you have to watch out for. They might not remember a particular name. And on that note, it may be better for someone from, not Fomori's Bane, essentially, because we are more well-known, and we have been through Unified Heart before also, on top of that.
If the Aruns stay behind and you want to kind of have a portion of your pack, fine, but I think Kyle still has the relationship to go, where Zeb can deliver messages and Dimitri will be fairly unknown.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Not to mention, it still keeps the headphones connected to two separate groups.
Cool.
Sounds
There's
good.
the plan. That's what we do.
Alright,
There's some ill omens.
Oh, he said it!
So, we've got Dimitri, Zeb, Kyle, and is Mark going or no?
Mark is staying.
Mark is staying, okay. So Kyle, Zeb, and Dimitri. After a couple hours, you get close to the Sept as you reach the outskirts of Olympic National Park in Washington State. As you start to move closer, and you start to see the hidden signs of the Bawn. And Dimitri, you give out an introductory howl.
I was gonna say, I'll shift into lupus form and give an introductory howl and announce ourselves.
You announce the group, and you hear a return howl from someone claiming to be Renata Balanced Words. She begins to approach. She is also in lupus as she shifts into her Renata shifts into her Glabro form just to be slightly on edge. Looks over. Looks at Kyle. There is Hawk. I've heard that your packs are wanted by the Protectors. They sent word via spirit here not a day ago that they would be sending an emissary soon. But takes a deep breath and gives kind of a resigned kind of sigh. Final Days has said a lot of things about you, Kyle Guards the Low. Very kind things. And so I will take you to him. But we must be swift and we must be quiet because the rest of the council was interested in meeting your group as well.
Thank you. Balanced words. I appreciate that greatly.
As you start to move through the Sept, she suggests, I suggest we take lupus form. That form is a little less well known on site.
Kyle will switch forms.
Yep, same.
As you all switch forms and start moving through in lupus, you're assaulted by various smells. The sheer number of wolves hiding in this area is staggering. It is remarkable how large the Sept is in terms of numbers, even with the Stargazers gone. As you're approaching, and Rajender turns, and his eyes widen, and he gives a nod, and he tips his head to just outside the Bon as you follow him, and you are able to speak now if you wish to take your Hamid forms.
We will.
Kyle, I was almost hoping you weren't going to arrive. They sent a spirit and a silent strider to talk about you.
Yes, well, there aren't too many places we could try. Have the Protectors said why we're wanted?
They said that you killed some of their number in Colorado Springs, and that you are trying to shield a great violation of the litany. They are also sending one of their number to the Sept of the Green. They might think they're being clever, but they're primarily targeting septs with moon bridges that leave the North American continent.
That's good to know. At least the first part, though, is false. No Garu blood is on our claws. The second part is more up for debate, I suppose.
As he squints...
I remember you had mentioned that here a new movement had been growing.
The Cult of the Desperate one?
Yes, well, the Great Darkness or Evil or whatever they called it. It is a Metis cub.
Why would they be so interested in a Metis cub? I suppose that is part of the Desperate One's prophecy to some of the Metis here, but I don't see why one would be marked especially special.
It was born of two Metis.
What?
Free from all derangement. Flawless in every way.
He takes a deep breath and seems to contemplate. That is quite the tale. Does it have something to do with, as he points to the sky?
Double nod.
The Sept has been on high alert, and the Umbra has shuddered.
The Spirals have shown their interest too. There are competing groups now that would hope for it to be their champion in the end.
I see. That is concerning, and just pairs with sign upon sign upon sign. All of our Furies have been changing form, hair lengthening and shortening, the color of their hair changing, some of their skins becoming lighter or darker, eye colors changing, height, the shape of their faces, forgetting important moments but still remember being part of the same pack, while speaking of historical events that, as far as we can tell, never happened, but spirits acknowledging who they are.
We've heard much the same, both in Sacred Stone and from other septs.
I'm shocked that it's happening at Sacred Stone, then.
It's lessened, I suppose, compared to some of the others, but...
Paints with Twilight sent a howl. She wanted to talk to me today. She was coming via the Moon Bridge in a few hours.
I think we are hoping to be on our way before that happens. Because we know what danger we're bringing to wherever we go. But we were hoping that there would be someone at this Sept sympathetic to the cub, who would be willing to help shroud us from those who would track us.
That would require a Ragabosh with you full time with the right gifts. There might be fetishes, but we certainly don't have them.
Damn.
You could try other things, I suppose. The gift is a difficult and a bit of a pain, so to speak. There are ways to try and get around it, though. The gift is for those who are actively hiding, and you used your real names. Kyle, as he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a wallet, and he hands you a wad full of cash, and goes, use different names. Change your clothes, change your appearance, do everything you can to hide who you are, and the gift will be slightly disrupted. I cannot guarantee that they won't find you, but it will make the gift more difficult. It will not happen automatically, but you have to actively try hiding. The child's a bit more difficult because the gift functions if there is a crude description. A crude description of the child is a Metis cub without blemish, born of 2 Metis parents, and there are no other Metis like that. And so the description is accurate enough for the gift. That might require a fetish of some kind to try and hide it, but I don't know of one. Where are you trying to get to?
We aren't sure yet, location-wise at least. We do have a plan, but there's no offense meant. I know you have our best interests at heart, but the fewer people who know what our plan is, likely the better. No one at the moment knows our plan but us.
Understood. That makes sense. But that should help. It's gonna have to be something you all do to try and actively hide yourselves.
Thank you. It means a lot that you still trust us like this.
Kyle, I am going to die soon. The only thing I can offer in these times is trust.
Well, try to make it to the literal last day then. I prefer final day, I think.
I will try. Good luck on your journey.
Thank you.
I would not go into Seattle proper. I'd go to one of the suburbs and the smaller cities around to go shopping. The Sept usually will occasionally do business in the city more often than the suburbs. So I'd suggest either Bellevue, Redmond, something like that.
And that's what we'll do. Thank you.
I'd leave in Lupus. Once again, those forms are a bit harder to distinguish and won't gather as much notice.
Who was the strider that brought the message here?
Sandra packs a lunch.
Be on the lookout, thank you. And I honor greatly the sacrifice the fates have laid before you, Elder.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Athro. I hope your journeys are safe, and if there's anything, I can try and find something. My number's changed, though, probably for the best.
If we were calling you that late at night, at this point, I can guarantee you a Sept would be falling.
As you guys shift back into Lupus and head on back, an almost comical scene as Kyle is a wolf carrying a wad of cash in his jaws. Cora, William, and Mark, that is the first thing you see.
Whoa.
Did Final Days not come? Is he staying there?
Yes, I robbed him. Let's go.
Okay.
No. He's staying there. It's better. No one knows exactly where we are. Keep as many people away as possible. So let's start heading out to some other town. And Kyle will inform everyone about what we talked about.
As you're heading back to since you gotta drive through Seattle to get to one of the smaller towns, you hit a bump as the child awakens and starts to snarl as it starts getting hungry, and you can see it howls in rage, fury, and hunger.
Time to make some formula.
As you're making some formula, you got a big old gallon jug with a nipple on it. As it grabs and starts to drink ravenously as it kind of claws at the air, grabs your shoulder, and rakes its claws down, doing a point of aggravated damage.
Ooh.
And you finally get back into town. It's getting pretty late, but a lot of the stores are still open as you start shopping, changing up your looks as Kyle goes the exact opposite direction of how he usually dresses, and he dresses like kind of fancy, kind of nice. William has to go in the opposite direction. Mark has to dress like someone who's not 17. Has to dress a bit...
Where's the dress?
Cora has to wear a dress. She has to not dress like a power lifter.
She puts on a sundress.
Dimitri also has to dress pretty nice. Zeb gets...
Zeb's gonna probably roll blissful ignorance because no haircut's gonna change that.
Zeb gets some slightly nicer clothes and a lot of try-hard makeup.
COVID mask.
And some sunglasses.
Actually, you joke. That's a good idea.
It is. As you guys get all your kind of stuff, you're disguised up.
Yeah.
A couple trims here and there. Dimitri is put in the barber chair, and he immediately is like, ah! As the buzz is going over his hair, as this is a brand new experience for him. Kyle is less screamy, but pretty uncomfortable about some hair trimmings for much the same reason, or get some extensions. And finally, you're all set up, and you are incognito, so to speak. And I'll need send me the dice pool for your wits stealth, because it'll be for each individual. And I'll need those in the future. So after that makeover, what's the plan?
I do believe that we are going to drive to the border and then run across in lupus form. So we're going to ditch the truck and try and skirt around Border Patrol.
And to be clear, not like drive right up to the Border Patrol gate or like near there. It would be drive somewhat probably east of a major border crossing by like an hour or something, and then do that.
Okay. And how are you carrying the child?
By a scruff, I guess.
Whoever's the biggest lupus can probably just carry by scruff, yeah.
Okay. Just recall that is a 3-foot tall baby.
Yep.
Have you ever seen a mother cat drag their young? Same thing.
But the cat isn't the same, or the kitten is not the same size as the cat.
We could dazzle.
Doctor recommended.
The thirds, yes, the thirds. The doctor is recommending dazzle.
Alright, cool. So you guys head off, start heading towards the border, and you get kind of close to a border crossing as you start to swerve towards the east. This is a couple hours worth of travel time, obviously, as you finally get close in terms of Cascade National Park. So you're about 10 miles from the border if you jump ship in this area. You go closer to Glacier and you follow that road, and you're actually closer to about 5 miles to the border, still somewhat mountainous. As you abandon ship, you shift into Lupus, you dazzle the child, pick them up, and start running. And as you run through, you cross the border, and you're about, where you went, you're about maybe 50 miles from Vancouver proper, as that was the best place to cross without your truck looking conspicuous. All right, what's the plan now?
Should we take another truck?
Yeah, we could probably take another truck once we cross the border.
I would still like to point out that the people have done nothing wrong, and we should probably focus on or try and hit a corporate van or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. We wait for a company truck of some kind and take that.
Sure.
All right. Couple hours as you see a corporate, truck. How do you want to steal from them?
Same plan as last time?
That worked last time. I say it works. Just dazzle the driver, take him out.
Yeah.
All right. You, excuse me. Then you wave the guy down. Dazzle. The guy's got willpower 3. Kyle.
I'm John.
Oh, yes. Your new alias.
I rolled it at 6, but I still passed. Sorry.
All good as the guy kind of just drops, kind of droops, and just you gently pick him up, put him down, take his car, and start driving over to Vancouver.
All right, as designated driver, I'll drive.
All right.
If somebody wants to navigate and somebody wants to be lookout.
All right.
I'll keep
who's
the
navigating?
lookout.
All right, cool.
I can also continue to be navigator.
I'll
Right.
take care of the child.
Excellent. As you guys start heading off, as you finally get to Vancouver, it's pretty late. It's maybe close to midnight after all the other stuff that you had done. The child is fast asleep for now. What is the plan?
What's the name of the Sept here, Keegan?
I'm going to have you roll Wits Intelligence just to see if you've been up in this area.
Difficulty?
I'm going to go 6. All right. So, you actually know that there are 3 septs in this area, or 4, actually. One is called the Chupkim Sept, which is controlled by younger brother. The Mukwan, or Mukwam Sept, controlled by older brother. The Smiling Buddha, which is a Glasswalker Sept. And the Great Karen, which is a powerful level 5 Karen that is controlled by several tribes.
Alright, so 4 Septs here, 1 Wendigo, 1 Actena, 1 Glasswalker, and then the mightiest of the 4, which would be my estimate as where someone at the level of Storm Chase would likely operate. I don't necessarily check my logic. I would think the Wendigo and the Actena would be ones that I'd mark off almost immediately.
Yeah.
Glasswalker could be possible. I don't know if the folks in Steel Mountain, if that was the contact, and it might have been. It might have been someone at Smiling Buddha. It wasn't made clear. The Great Cairn that's here with lots and lots of Guru could be a spot where somebody could hide for a bit and then make their way. But you're right. Those 2 would be the ones that make me think. Bill, have you ever been to the Smiling Buddha Cairn?
I have not. While I haven't been, I have heard of it. It is operated by a camp within the Glasswalkers called the Corporate Raiders.
Sounds like a decent group to talk to. Probably not at midnight.
Probably very busy at that time.
I think we should go back. We should talk to them during normal business hours.
Right. I think what this does tell me, though, is this makes sure that we try to stay off the bond or out of the territory of either one of these 4.
For sure.
So it means we find a place to crash for the night.
What's a story we're gonna stick with? We're just passing through and just curious about the Garu that we stumbled upon in our travels. Claim to be from here.
Well, I'm still a silent strider and still a messenger of the Guru Nation. It's not too hard for me to go anywhere and bring messages to people around here as Jebediah. Because I'm not hiding that in Lupus. But to your point, we probably don't roll 7 deep into anyone's territory like it's no big thing.
And best not to bring the child along anywhere.
Right.
I'll tend to the child.
We might want to take a look to make sure we haven't been followed.
Probably a good idea.
Perhaps best then is to take rest and see what happens.
Keegan, what kind of truck is this? Is it like a box truck?
Yes.
Okay, so we can rest in the truck then.
Look out for mines.
I was thinking,
go ahead.
I was thinking we could probably find a truck rest stop somewhere and stay there for the night.
Okay. You drive over to a rest stop. And pull off. Around 3 a.m., Dimitri, you hear on your window.
Alright, Dimitri will wake up and see what's tapping on the window.
You see the cop there with a light on going, "You doing alright, son?" Making sure that usually the rest stops, people don't fall asleep here, and you got quite a full truck as the light of the flashlight goes over everyone, and luckily the Metis cub is well enough hidden in blankets that he doesn't notice what it is right away.
Yeah, we're all right. It's been a long day.
I'm sure. Yeah. This stops here for people actually making deliveries, not deliveries of people. You could have gone to a hostel 3 cubed.
Sorry for the trouble, officer, but we were so exhausted. We didn't feel that it would be safe for us to drive, and to keep driving to a hotel and end up getting in an accident on the highway.
All right. Well, law says you can be here for another 3 hours. That's close to the end of my shift, so if I see you here, you're gonna have some trouble. You understand?
I completely understand.
He nods and starts to drive off, and you all get back to sleep the best you can. At 5 a.m., Mark, you are woken up by a massive thud hitting your chest as the child starts to scream for food, and then you get the smell of something very distinct from the blanket that you have wrapped the child in.
Mark's going to remove the blanket, bundle it up and wrap it up, and throw it away.
All right.
Well, let's see here. Yeah, throw it away. There's a dumpster nearby. I'm going to, because I was handling the child in Glabro form. I'll switch to Bahamut form and throw away at a dumpster nearby. And then I'll come back, switch back to Glabro form to feed the child.
You feed the child and gently use a baby wipe through furred legs and bottom, and you're out of blanket to keep the child incognito. The child feeds ravenously. It seems like the child is growing fast, though, as you could swear after it's at least an inch, if not more, taller than when you first found them.
We'll put it on the list of things to buy later. Blankets. And bring up that we'll need more food to the packs in the morning. Because I assume no one else woke up. This was just me.
No, the howling roars definitely woke everyone up. And the smell.
Okay.
This is a child that has formula poops with stomach acid strong enough to dissolve bones. And all the implications of what that would smell like.
Alright, Dimitri's gonna get ready to get back to driving on the road again.
Alright. Oh.
Does this rest stop have a store?
It has a vending machine.
Okay, then never mind.
You could still grab a couple drinks, so we're taken care of. I will grab. Yeah, I will grab everyone's order and get some drinks.
All right. As you get some coffee, all that. You drive through, and Jeb, with his alias, ears perk up as there is a Canadian burrito gong breakfast.
Heed the call, the burrito gong, friends. In these dark times, no high fructose corn syrup awaits us.
As y'all get your,
more blankets or largest diapers we can find. An air freshener.
Blankets, puppy pads. Got it.
An air freshener.
Got it.
As you pull off to, a superstore, you split the party. As Zeb is eating what in America would be called the quarter-pounder sloppy breakfast burrito, but instead it is a Royale breakfast burrito with slop.
Keegan, while I'm at the store, I'm going to try and find an ATM and pull out as much cash as I can.
Okay.
Because I don't think I have enough cash to keep us going, and I want to ditch my card for as long as possible.
Sure. As you do that, you start pulling. You realize that you're probably going to have to use your control. You're going to probably want to do your connection gift with it, because you're going to set off alarms because you're in a country that your bank doesn't know you're in, trying to exchange US dollars for Canadian dollars.
So my plug and play.
Yes.
Oh, I guess I should ask, did the Ill Omens gain 2 willpower for Jebediah's great leadership?
Yeah. Get your willpower.
Okay. So it means I will spend a willpower and activate plug and play.
It's hard to fuck up as a leader being unconscious.
That's true.
We call that addition by subtraction, my friend.
So I activate plug and play, and it just lets me connect and hack the. So at this point, I don't even have to use my card. I'll just hack it and have it dispense as much cash as it possibly can.
Do intelligence computers diff 8, because you got to turn off the camera that's attached to it and then have it dispense cash subtly.
Intelligence computer.
Yep.
I guess I should use an actual willpower then for an auto success.
Okay.
Because I think this is a pretty big deal.
As the ATM spouts out, the camera turns off, the ATM spits out a little bit of cash, about 300 Canadian dollars.
Okay.
Did we spend everything that Rajender gave us?
No. You probably have about 100 American dollars. He gave you everything in his wallet because he still loves you as a son.
Thanks, Dad.
Night Fighter. No.
He's father.
He may be your father, but he ain't your daddy, boy.
Rajender wasn't the stepdad. He was the dad that stepped up.
He wears the Joshua shirt.
All right. As you guys buy some more formula, you go to a nearby animal conglomerate for dog formulas to mix the two based on the specifications you were given. Mix things up, as it's about 9 a.m. now. Still kind of tired given the asshole cop, but you have some time. What is the plan?
I really have no ideas. A loss.
Well, I'd say Jeb and maybe anyone else that wants to go with could go into the Sept, deliver news. If it happens to be outdated, that's too bad. And then maybe we could do some asking around.
The Great Cairn could be the place then. Several tribes are represented, plenty of folks to interact with, plenty of faces that we can just kind of blend in with.
I mean, we still run into the issue of the cub, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind being with the cub
Same.
throughout that. Particularly also, like, I have the dazzle, so, like, if he starts ripping up the truck, I got...
That's smart.
But I guess it would just fall into the same sort of Guru, Cleoth, no one really knows who you are, Foster, and maybe a few do, Adrian, you are kind of known, and so on and so on. So if I'm from, like, the United States and I come up here as a Foster, and they probably wouldn't know me at all.
Well, it's easy enough. We could go to the Smiling Buddha and speak to their truth catcher in the same way we spoke to this truth catcher at Steel Mountain, and exchange some information as would normally happen, and then see kind of where we go next. I understand the risk of people that are wanted just rolling into a level 5 cairn. And maybe you see someone you know, and maybe you don't.
Yeah.
So, okay, so on that, I mean, they mentioned specifically, well, I'm sorry, I said they. Rajender mentioned specifically that they were sending people to cairns that had ways off of the continent. I would imagine Vancouver being this close to the edge, and it being that big of a cairn that there will definitely be paths out. And with there being that many Garu, the Protectors will be there already, like almost assuredly. That isn't to say no to going there, just that if we did, it probably shouldn't be all of us for sure. It should probably only be one or two.
So maybe we do half and half go into Smiling Buddha, and the other half afterwards goes to the larger Sept.
So we'll do 3 go into the Smiling Buddha, 3 to the Great Karen, switch off kid duty so that they can interact with other people. Who's going to the Smiling Buddha?
I kind of want to, just as a class walker.
Makes sense.
I feel like Cora would just be lost.
So you're doing the Great Karen then?
Yes.
That's fine.
I can. Dimitri will tag along to the Smiling Buddha.
Okay.
A bone gnar surrounded by technology. It's gonna
Anyone
be so
else?
lost.
Yeah, I can go with them.
All right, perfect.
But John will confer with Jeb about all of the questions that he would want to ask there.
All right, and you guys do that. Sean, you can just shoot him a message.
Yep.
All right, so with that, you find where the Karen is thanks to Jeb's information, and you find the number, and you give it a call as you do the howl of introduction by talking into the phone. You're let in as it's a pretty nice office building that's over a... as you approach, you find the Smiling Buddha. It is a rundown area. Is a cheap-ass area where it looks like anyone can get stabbed, and the Smiling Buddha is kind of like a happening night spot kind of thing. It's kind of run down, but it seems to have been somewhat fixed up a little bit. As you enter, and you are approached by one of the Garu as they go, "Greetings, I am Elise," or she goes, "I'm Elise Ironwinter. Pleasure to meet you."
Pleasure. My name is Bill Technospeak.
And I am Eli Trash Drummer.
John absolves the innocent.
Good. What brings you here?
Passing through, trying to grab some information. Friend here is the one that has some of the questions.
You wouldn't be the first coming to this, Karen.
Oh no? Popular spot for questions?
Well, we send a couple out to the Great Karen. Some of the Protectors and Elders have shown up. Judge of Doom showed up and said that they had important information on the Litany.
Oh.
I'm assuming it has to do something with that red star in the Umbra that just appeared a couple weeks ago. Like a week ago.
Sure, that was quite the night.
The scream through the Umbra was intense. Some of us even heard it on the other side of the gauntlet. Anyway, you're lucky he just got back. I'll take you to Tom. You get to kind of a seedy kind of back office. Guy stands up. All right, nice to meet you. Can I help you? She goes, "Tom, these are some Garu from out of town looking for some information." All right, well, I guess come in. Pleasure to meet you, Tom Tungsten's Kiss.
Pleasure's all mine, Tom. My name's Bill Technospeak, and these are two of my friends. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Eli Trash Drummer.
John absolves the innocent.
Have a seat. All right, Techno. All right, Techno Speak. What kind of information are you looking for?
It's not really me. It's my friend here. We're just kind of passing through, and since I can kind of get us in, I thought it would be easier to talk to you guys through me, but he knows more.
All right, John. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, I guess there's a couple of topics. The first, we crossed paths with an elder that we'd never heard of before. And one that no one else seemed to have heard of either. Kind of came out of nowhere, I guess. Goes by Storm Chaser.
Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser. Name sounds familiar, but I know I've never met them. I've heard some of the old-timers talk about him.
Really?
Yeah.
You're the first person to say that.
I mean, only comes up occasionally at the Great Karen during big seasonal moots, usually when Shadow Lords are involved, so I don't know anything beyond that, really.
He is a Shadow Lord, so I mean, that tracks, but at least the next place we can ask. So that helps. Thank you.
Yeah.
The
Think of his name. They've got an Athro over there. I think they go by Yvonne Raven's Call. I think I heard him talk about this Storm Chaser. Oh, probably 2, maybe even 4 years ago.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you. And the other topic, we were a little curious about the movements of the emissary of the Margrave to North America.
Oh. So you're on the Breck side of the equation, huh?
I suppose I don't know. Never really been involved in politics at that level.
Sure. Well, it's trying, and they have some sway here with the Grand Karen, mostly because Lucas Kwaki is doing quite a bit to kind of strengthen that here, trying to cut down other tribes and strengthen Shadow Lord relations, and that makes sense. They helped form the conclave with the leeches here in the city.
Did they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We can kill we can kill any leech that tries to enter the city, but once they're in city limits, they're off limits. In exchange, since the Grand Karen is in the center of the city, the leeches won't try and fuck with us during our grand moots, and they give us access to the Karen.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Well, I gotta tell you that because if you kill a leech, it's on us. We would have to deal with the fallout.
Well, we aren't planning on any leech hunting, I don't think.
Fair enough, but it is worth bringing up just in case. A lot of Garu are not a fan.
No, understandable. I mean, from what I've been told, one of the few things that we've heard about Storm Chaser recent was that he helped do something similar in Colorado.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so just to let you know, the Covenant rules are the vampires can use their business influence to keep the worm out of the city. They were allowing their businesses to thrive to keep things like Magadon out and Endron out. It's better to have a leech-owned oil company, even if it's only just a little bit. The Kindred are going to restrain the resources of those companies to some degree, just a little bit, as part of the agreement. The Kindred give free pass to any Garu entering the city unhindered to visit the Great Karen, so, keep a low profile when you're not there. The Kindred through the foresting companies that they control will have to do restoration programs at the same time. So they are allowed to log and profit, but they have to funnel some of their funds back into the logging. We will keep the peace and not assault any vampire within the city. We will help if you see any vampire new in the city, which understandably you might not know. You have to let us know so that we can tell Siegfried, the basically leader of the leeches. They need to be informed so that Siegfried can deal with them however he needs to. And the last bit is, if Siegfried allows, if a single vampire by themselves is crossing the woods, we leave them be. But if it's a group or two or more, it's free game, and we can rip them to shreds. If there's a line of just a couple miles or even a day between them, and it's a clear mass migration to try and sway the city's politics, then we're allowed to hunt to our heart's desire.
Got it. Okay. We'll keep all of that in mind. We don't want to rock any boats, break any allegiances, or I suppose it's not quite that strong, agreements.
Appreciate it. It's weird, too. There was a leech walking through the city. Always kind of an oddball, that one. But they started screaming about seeing the star in the sky as soon as we did, too. Weird stuff.
Huh.
Interesting times.
I can't say I know much about leeches. Maybe they have prophecies for these days, too.
Could be. Alright, you got anything else?
We've been out of the world for quite some time. The only other news that we've heard about, and it likely has made it up here already, is that the White Howlers have returned.
That I did not hear. That sounds like a myth, though. Where'd you hear that from? From a Garu over in Europe, who heard it from a Garu from Asia, who heard it from his ratkin friend in the bowels of Beijing.
I heard it from a Strider.
Oh.
But I can understand your thoughts on it. Doesn't quite sound real to me either, but...
Well, I guess we'll find out. I'll consult with some spirits to see. Talk to the Thurges, but... I appreciate the news. Even if it's just a rumor, it says a lot about the headspace of the nation if they're clinging to shit like that, and that ain't true.
Well, I mean, stargazers go away, something's gotta come, right?
Don't even get me started.
Well, my friend here hasn't been in the world for a hot minute. Do you have any updates on what's going on over in Asia? I understood that there was some techno wizards or techno mages fighting leeches.
Only rumors. I heard the leech is dead. I heard a bunch of leeches went crazy. Some in the city did. Started eating each other. The rumors aren't kind, though, but it's hard because there's now a wall of silence with the stargazers now not part of the nation, not trading information. We're waiting on info to come over from India to the Middle East to Europe to here. So still no info.
Are you in contact with any other kin besides them?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
It more so, do you have allegiances with other Septs, other Glasswalker Septs?
We have some, but this cairn is small, and the moon bridges don't go far, and our moon bridges is strong enough to hit Sept of the Unified Heart, but that ain't a Glasswalker cairn, and it's not strong enough to hit the cairn down in LA.
That's fair. I was more in just talking about communications. There's we've been in Colorado for a while, and I think the Steel Mountain cairn could use some information, as well as you guys could use the information from them.
Steel Mountain, huh? Well, we'll try and set some things up. I didn't know you were down in Colorado. I heard that place is a hot shit mess right now. Protectors of Gaia getting murdered. Some sort of major litany violation. I heard that Karen kind of threw the litany out with the bathwater, which they kind of charge us with doing, but not like how they're doing, from my understanding.
Well, from the same Strider that we heard from everything from, it was because of them that the Protectors are out.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. The Protectors are looking for them. I also heard something about how their previous leader basically started a war with leeches and then turned all the Garu inside the Karen against each other. Almost had the Karen fall until, several armies showed up.
Yeah, I've only heard stories about that, but that is a mess.
Yeah, so good thing you got out of that shithole, man. Sounds like those Garu there don't know their fucking ass from their face.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend any vacations over there anytime soon.
Now, Seattle, on the other hand, that's where we just came from. That's a pretty good place.
Yeah, Unified Heart I heard is pretty good. It's just a little too rural for me.
Understandable.
Anyway, I gotta take a call.
Yep, we got the information we need. We'll leave you be. Thank you again for everything.
Hey, I'm gonna call one of my contacts there just to let them know that your pack is in town. What's the name of your pack with you three, by the way?
The Banebreakers.
Alright, I'll let them know that the Banebreakers are in town, and I'll give them your name, so that the Great Karen knows. And so that the whole area knows, so that if you fuck up, well, you're gonna take the fall for fucking up.
Sure.
You guys head back
Thanks
to the
again.
car. Oh, thank you. As you guys head back to the car, kind of blah, all the info you learned. As you then start heading towards Stanley Park, where the Great Karen is. And the other three get to go. We're greeted by a bonar named Isaiah Rolls in Filth. They are the gatekeeper. Welcome. And you are?
I am Jebediah the Confessor. I bring messages here, as is my sacred duty.
Welcome, Strider.
I am Matthew Healing Claws. I accompany the Strider.
Rhonda, come and take them.
Come and take them.
She'll flex. Come and take them.
I get that's funny. Now I can die saying I've seen everything.
With that star in the sky, it might be sooner than later, huh?
Sure does seem that way. What brings you here? What's your pack name?
We are a temporary pack of the Enigma technique. They travel with me as my protectors.
Welcome. I will bring you in. I'll just give him a call as he pulls out a flip phone, texts a group chat, slips it into his pocket. You're free to go in. I gotta give you the rules as he gives you the same kind of vampire, Garu, peace deal breakdown. So don't fuck around in the city too much. If you smell a leech, no you don't. Unless you don't recognize them, then you come to one of us, give us a description so we know that they're either a new one or not, and then you give the location where you saw them so that we can talk to the vampiric leader. Got it?
Understood.
Absolutely.
Rhonda just flex.
Just crab walks, flexing.
We understand.
As you enter, Jebediah.
I'm going to be extremely cognizant and on the lookout for other silent striders here.
Okay. Perception
Sure.
Alertness. Diff
Alright.
5. You do in fact see a somewhat familiar face. Endless Journey, with his walking around in Hamid form with shoes that clearly don't fit his cloven feet. You haven't seen him since the Strider moot. You can do Manipulation Stealth. Diff 6, because your disguise is pretty alright with the COVID mask and the sunglasses. Also, I think you technically got uglier since the last time you saw him.
I did. I have in fact gotten uglier. Alright, I will use the gift silence and my dice from Owl.
You are able to effectively and efficiently avoid him. What now?
And I'll, in an aside to my protectors, Ivan Ravenscall first, deliver information on the conduct of one of his warriors in Colorado Springs, keeping a similar peace, and see the reaction, which I doubt will be much.
Sounds perfect.
He said Yvonne Ravenscall is an elder of the Shadow Lord, right? Okay.
Athro.
Oh, Athro? Okay. I will seek them out.
Asking around, and you do find Yvonne. He's pretty old. He's about 65, maybe 70. Sitting on a bench, looking around, feeding the pigeons before giving a little whistle as the ravens come down to peck and eat the pigeons. Can I help you, young man?
Ravenscall, I am called Jebediah the Confessor of the Enigma technique. I bring you news of great conduct of one of your tribe.
Oh.
He is one called Alvin Stormchaser.
You see, visible confusion.
He has had great success in the city of Colorado Springs, Colorado Territory of North America, in bringing peace between that Sept and the vampire population there, as a war had broken out. He serves as elder on their council now. I am told this news was even presented to an emissary of the Margrave. It was unfortunate that it had not spread very far yet, as this seemed to be a great deed.
That it did. Sorry, that name is very familiar, but I doubt it's the same, or it can't be the same Garu, so...
There's very little known about Stormchaser. I think he's a very modest Garu, or in his own way. Is there something you could impart on us, sir, for the news?
Well, whether your elven storm chaser is modest or not has no relevance to whether he is the one who used to live here or not. Alvin Stormchaser was a Cleoth at the same time I was, and was killed by the vampire Siegfried before the peace was broached, when he was but a Cleoth trying to reach the rank of Fostern.
I grieve for the loss of your friend. In battle, still honorable. What were the circumstances how did he fall?
Tried to sneak up and kill Siegfried, but the vampire was quite ancient and had things planned out. Took a silver knife and jabbed it into his face, sliced his head open, and as he went into the death frenzy, the blade crossed his throat. With unmatched speed, he fell, shifting back into Hamid, dead. I returned, failing my rank challenge that was with him to try and take on this vampire. And as I grew older, and as the bloodshed continued, I came up with the plan of how to create a lasting peace wherever it dwells, whenever it breeds, but it's best to leave the minor worm creatures to stop the larger ones, I thought. And seeing how Alvin was killed all those years ago is what helped inspire that.
What was your friend's auspice?
He was a Philodox.
Well, I will tell you, this werewolf must be carrying on a similar tradition, as Alvin Stormchaser is indeed a Philodox, elder of your tribe, and is doing much the same as you have done here. The rules were strangely familiar when I came to Vancouver.
Interesting. I would very much like to meet this Alvin Stormchaser at some point, but, well, duty calls here. Unyielding fist of justice has arrived and has been quite adamant about meeting all the Garu here to speak on the sins of 2 packs of Garu. 2 from Colorado, actually.
I've been on the road for some time. What is their transgression?
The judge spoke to me and said that they had promoted a metis of some kind, and that this metis is somehow tied to the Red Star, and that it is a affront to Litany, more so than your standard metis is, and that in their wake, several protectors' bodies were found, and that massive breaches of the veil happened in an attempt to protect this cursed child. And so, they seek retribution through the Litany. It's unsurprising, really. I've heard rumors of the Sept of the Sacred Stone and how they violated the tenets of Litany, where they didn't, wherever it dwells, whenever it breeds, they ignored it and fought amongst themselves for political gain while kindred were wiping out their kin. I'd heard Tatiana Guts the Weak arrived and was starting to put things in one way or another, and then an Incarna of Truth showed. I'd even heard that Albrecht, as you hear this kind of twinge in his voice, arrived to try and create some sort of compromise and strengthen the Silverfang position in defending the Litany and a powerful Karen that could allow jumps across the nation and the continent.
Well, I think there are many that are aware, and Zeb will tap his nose through his mask, of what the Silverfangs have suffered from for quite some time. I believe we shall continue to live in interesting times. Thank you. Do you have any messages you wish me to take from this place?
That Vancouver will prevent the escapes of any Garu who wish to jump overseas. That our moon bridges are closed to any who try and leave the continent. The net will continue to tighten, and that those who stand with the worm will not use our means to spread its influence.
A just warning. Jeb will look to his friends. Well, packmates, it is certainly the cobra-headed goddess smiled upon me in her mercy when you two crossed my path to protect me from these Litany violators. Thank you very much.
As you return back to your fellows at the truck.
And we too shall bleh our information.
Howdy, fellow litany violators.
I wonder if this fucking vampire's behind a whole bunch of shit.
Mhm.
Does anyone else feel like it's really weird when you walk into a city of Guru that say if you touch a vampire, we're going to kill all of you, yet another group of Gurus is going to show up and say, we need to hunt down these people that would violate the litany in another manner? I don't understand.
Too many coincidences.
It seems we'll uphold this piece of litany because we were told about this terrible thing. But we're gonna overlook our own violation because we made the plan.
There's a lesson there about authority or something, maybe. We need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Fast. Especially before that judge arrives.
On the window, there's a tapping. There are two people there. Both of them a bit older. One looking to be about in her 70s, maybe her 80s, and the other in his early to mid 40s.
Dimitri will roll down the window. Be like, oh, hey there. How's it going?
It's a pleasure. Hello, the old woman says.
I'd like to roll Sense the Unnatural, Keegan.
All right, roll that.
Mark/Matthew would like to sense worm.
All right, roll. Diff 9 for you, Mark.
Okay.
Zeb, you get the
Alright.
smell of animalistic musk, almost like a wolf. Can't smell any worm on him. I am Gulira Moonsinger, and this is Dorian Gravekeeper. I am an elder of the Black Furies, and he is an athro of the Silent Striders. It is a pleasure to meet all of you.
The pleasure is all ours. What may we do for an esteemed elder of the Black Furies?
I wish to talk about the fact that you have a child with you, and that child could save us all. But the child must be baptized. But I get ahead of myself. We are from the Sept of Prophecy, dedicated to Phoenix, and we would like to talk with you. And we will see what they want to talk about next time.
Episode.
Thanks to everyone who listened. We'll catch you in that next episode. Bye.
Bye.
See you then.
Hey.
Bye.